We're on top. We're on.
Welcome to the show. You're watching Let's Talk right here on Ebru TV, and we are back. I always feel, honestly, Monday and Wednesday, the whole entire weekend, that's like almost a week. So much has gone by. We've missed you. There's so much going on, and it always feels great to be right back at home, right here with you, interacting with you and everything. And today is Wellness Wednesday, which means we're going to be taking care of not only the tea, but also taking care of our spirits. You know, so many times we forget about how you need to really take some time in your day to take care of yourself. So whether it's just a few minutes in the day to have a little bit of alone time, some reflection, some introspection, all the shens of the words and everything, make sure you go ahead and do that, and make sure you take care of yourself. Because let me tell you, with COVID, with pandemic, with quarantine, it is so easy to let your mental health go all the way to the left. And we're not trying to do that over here. But welcome to the show. It's your girl, Ayuma Kagumi.
I watched a series this week, and it's called Undone. It's one of those series which kind of gets into your mind and you wonder, what the hell were they talking about? And they were talking about a condition, a mental condition called schizophrenia. And they actually get into how schizophrenia can become so real. So you have a reality, and this other person has another reality. They're two different realities, and you both see the same thing, but their situation is so much different. The way you see your reality and it's your reality and the mental image that you've created in your head are almost put together. It feels like this is a normal day. And that kind of shed light into the fact that mental health is one of those things we really need to get really into to understand it. We need more series, more movies, more information, more people talking about it, because the more they talk about it, the more we understand it, and we can now sympathize, as opposed to talking from a perspective of, I don't really know what she's talking about, but I'm supporting her. A lot of support has been going on, but we still need to get into the mind of these people and understand what is going on in your head. So if you're actually going through any mental health issue, please talk to us. Let us know your actual experience. Our DMs are open. The hashtag is Ebru Let's Talk. Don't forget, Ebru Let's Talk _official is where you can find us. Ebru TV Kenya everywhere else. Catch us except for Facebook, where it's Ebru TV KE. But for now, let's get into Wellness Wednesday. I'm excited. My name is Kathomi.
We are all going through a rough time. You are not alone. So let's keep it positive, flip your hair, and enjoy life. Welcome to the show. My name is Lily Asigo.
I love her hair, first of all.
I noticed. I was
that
like,
hair?
you said flip your head. I'm just like, there's no flipping that's happening with this bun, but you're flipping for us. You're flipping for us.
You're dying under there.
Yeah, you're looking good as well.
Oh, thank you.
I love
But
your
you see
kaban.
they've done a little close-up on your hair right now. It really is looking as
there we
good
go,
and juicy.
girl.
Those curls are bouncing and popping.
Thank you.
Yeah, looking very, very good. But let's get right into it. It's time for Hot Talk.
We're on top.
Anyway, we have everything from the entertainers' frustration with lockdown. Calligraph Jones is talking. Willie Paul is talking. Soft Life King is talking as well. We've got Jamal saying that his wife should see what Ambare has done for them as a blessing, because my God, that is a story we need to get into, because it is seriously maddening. And then Annalise advising us on when to get kids and with whom to get kids. So I think let's get right into the first story. I am talking about entertainers, including Willie Paul Msafi. We're talking about the Soft Life King himself, aka Mr. His name is Ellie from FBI, Elijah from FBI. And then finally, we still have Calligraph Jones talking about the situation that is. And honestly, I feel kind of in the middle of it all. So Willie Paul says that people need to be let out. People need to go out and hustle, because people are suffering, and there are a lot of people who need to provide for themselves, including entertainers, and especially entertainers. There are no events. DJs can't go and play in clubs. People are lacking a place to get their income, and they didn't have alternative sources of income. And then every time they open it up and then they close it after a month, it becomes tricky, because you've just gotten to the point where you're stabilizing and thinking about what you're going to do. And then just as that is about to set off, then you go in lockdown again. So Willie Paul Msafi is of the team of, you know what, let's close this. Calligraph Jones also says the same. He actually goes so far as to tell the deputy president that he will help him campaign if at all he opens the lockdown, if he opens up the counties.
Utaingia State House. Those were his words. And you just see what happens when I come out and get state house.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's a funny one which I found. But then the guy from FBI, the dancer, said something quite different. His opinion was this: look, the lockdown isn't just a local thing. This is happening worldwide. It's not like we're the only ones. It's not like Kenya alone is under lockdown. Everyone else in the world is under lockdown. And truth be told, it's actually very true. Places like the UK are still being indoors. That is a reality. People have been staying indoors. I've been talking with my dad, and honestly, for the past like 2 years, honestly, I feel bad for the guy. He's always indoors. Like, the best he can do is just get up, call his friends, they all mask up, sanitize and everything, and go for a walk. That is the reality in places like the UK. In places like Australia, where they were lucky enough to have very low numbers of people with COVID, it only happened because of the fact that when people said lockdown, Australia locked down for real. No one is going anywhere. No one is eating anywhere. You stay in your house, sanitize yourself and your people, and let us stay indoors. And you can see the numbers. Their numbers are quite low, almost none. So it becomes that tussle for me in my head, because I'm like, okay, I understand the point of COVID, but at the same time, I still see where we're suffering as individuals. You know, there are other sources of income which we could have had, the opportunities which we're missing out on, simply because, one, companies aren't hiring, two, companies aren't marketing, so people like us lose jobs for influencing, and many, many other situations. The mamamboga now has to figure out how she's gonna sell hamburger, because I don't know, is she gonna start an online business? What is that situation like? How much money do you have to? It's a lot to think about if you ask me, and I honestly feel like, should we start thinking about it from a world's perspective, where we're not just the only ones in lockdown, other people also trying to survive? What do you think?
I think we definitely have to think about it from a world perspective and look at the countries who did it right the first time. Let's look at ourselves as Kenya. Honestly, when they did that 10 p.m. lock, first it was 11, right?
Yeah.
And then they did 10. Those were jokes. We still know what we were doing. Some of us, what we were doing when we were doing what we were doing. Okay, as we're there saying that we were social distancing, partying. Then you get a few drinks in you, and that mask just disappears. You don't even know where it's gone. Okay, if we would have done it the right way in the very beginning, we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in right now. But at the same time, when you look at these other Western countries, they're getting stimulus checks. Okay, they're getting money to subsidize their money that they're losing now that their businesses have been closed down. Is that happening in Kenya? Nope. No, it's not happening. And I think that's where the problem lies. And the government actually needs to do that, because we all know of the COVID billionaires who have been transformed and their life has completely changed.
I saw someone with a new Porsche. I'm like, how are you buying a brand new Porsche?
You're starving. You're starving. Other people are there buying brand new cars, buying brand new houses. People are making serious money while other people are starving. So I think the government, at the same time as they're busy locking down, all those billions that are busy being stolen and disappearing in different places, we're not even going to ask you questions. Don't worry. Just make sure that you also give us some of that money as well, and then we can be able to like pang out ourselves. And it doesn't have to be a large amount of money. It just has to be a thing of like, let's look at the income of this household and how much have you lost. Even if you were to give me half of that, I'm sure I could be able to do something, as opposed to now nothing, kabisa.
True.
And like I see my friends and everything who are like in the hospitality industry and how their life has literally completely done.
True.
Gone, kabisa. And the landlord is still there asking for rent.
True.
Your children are still there crying, they still need food. Now they're even eating more because they're at home, you know? You can't just send them off to school to eat the kagiderio at school. No. Now they're eating more at home. Expenses and life still has to go on. So if they're gonna tell us to lock down, which is 100% important, and we should have done it the right way in the beginning, but now we're not, we need to have some type of stimulus plan where we can get some money.
For me, what is life without entertainment? For real, when you get stressed, you want to listen to music, you want to watch a movie or do something that is entertaining. And now that the entertainment industry is just, I don't know, they are struggling. They are all struggling because they have bills, they have families, they have children, they need to pay fees. So it's quite tough for them to even maintain the same lifestyle. You can imagine someone coming from getting 400K just to perform for 20 minutes or 15 minutes to now getting nothing completely. Ivi maramoja, sha. I'm even surprised they're not even falling down and just dying out of stress. So it's not an easy thing. We are all struggling, but I feel like we need to keep it positive. I have a small bro in the States, and let me tell you, as much as they may be going through lockdowns and sijui nini, it's different. We are a developing country. They are a developed country. So it's not the same. Sisi tumewachwanishwa hivyo. Whether you can pay rent or not, It's none of the government's business, unfortunately.
But don't you think it's a situation of it gets better before it gets worse? Should we just buckle down for at least a month straight without all these funny
A month
things?
isn't going to kill it.
And okay, just set a specific timeline until we make sure that this curve is starting. Because now, before, you remember when you used to sing that song of, do you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who has corona? Now it's a thing of you actually know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who has corona.
Died from
and
corona.
then you still know someone who knows. It's like the number has really, really become less. Now you actually know people who've died of corona. We have neighbors dying of corona. And that just tells you one thing. We didn't do it right the first time, so it gets better before it gets worse. Or what is the narrative that we're supposed to be working here? I know guys are going through a lot of stuff, but would you rather die? Honestly, is that the regimen that we're trying to
you can also
put
die
into play?
from hunger. Not even, at least we are getting positive results that people are getting healed from corona. But what does Nini do to you? Hunger. You will die. You won't survive. That's like an automatic.
And we're
that
talking
you're
from a
gonna
point
die.
of privilege. If we talk about,
Yeah.
at the worst that you can say, even the artists and everything, it's still from points of privilege. There's people who are literally starving because maybe you were a waitress, there's no job. And now that's the only type of job you had. So now what are you going to do?
So imagine you're hungry and then you get COVID.
Exactly.
I just want to know from you, 0777-672-230, are you of the narrative where we need to lock it down and get this thing over and done with by trying to lower the curve even more? Or are you of the school of thought where people just need to go out and at least fend for themselves? We can try and keep the COVID, the regulations a little bit more tight, or I don't know, what do you think the solution should be? Let us know on the number below.
Yes. Jamal, we all know Jamal got married, allegedly got married to Amber Ray last month. And apparently they've been together for 5 years before they decided to get married. And you know what Jamal has to say when he went for an interview? He said that his wife, his first wife, should thank his second wife because she's the reason as to why he is not cheating. He used to be a serial cheater, but ever since he met his second wife, he stopped. I don't know. We don't follow him with cameras like this to make sure that ameacha, but that's what he said. He said, this one I have to quote him.
And I quote.
Before, quote unquote, before I settled on Ambare, I was living a very expensive life. I don't know if that changed.
COVID billionaires.
I would spend 50K per day. Today, I can meet women I've been with, and I wouldn't even remember. My wife should know Ambare is a blessing. I was a loner, but Amber came and understood me as I am. I gave her my Instagram accounts, and she's the one who runs them. She calmed me down at some point as I had told her I would marry her. She calmed down. The wife didn't agree to him marrying a second wife, but she calmed down at some point. And as I had told her I would marry a second wife, I also proved to her it was better to be with Amber than be with other women out there cheating. Why is he trying to justify cheating? That's my question. If you want to cheat, you go out and cheat. But don't disrespect your wife, whether it's your first wife, your second, your third, your fifth, your 10th. Don't disrespect any of your wives. Don't disrespect your relatives. And also respect yourself enough to not disclose that information in public. Like, who needs to know that you used to give different random women 50K a day? That is huge. For me, personally, we would be going every week to tunafanya tests. I won't specify because
there's so many at that point.
Yeah, I mean, people are not scared of getting, let me not mention, but you know, my goodness. For me, I feel that Jamal needs to respect his first wife to begin with, because he made it clear that this wife alimvumilia, walianza from scratch, akimfulia one boxer. Can you imagine? And to now disrespecting her, like, wewe unafaa kushukuru second wife amenifanya nimeacha kucheat.
Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I will say this once and I will say this once only. Look, first of all, a man who is cheating, in this particular case, a serial cheater, will probably always go back to being a serial cheater. Just because you're hot and new doesn't mean that you're going to completely erase all of that. Why does he need someone to manage his accounts? Why can't he manage them? You know, it's only a show of strength when you're managing your own accounts and you still are choosing not to be a cheater.
Exactly.
In this particular case, you'll just find another avenue for finding women. As in, another question is, 50,000. You know, when I start thinking about 50,000, I'm just thinking two-thirds of the Kenyan population, two-thirds, I'm telling you, two-thirds of the Kenyan population earn 50K and below. Two-thirds, my friends. And this guy is giving this 50K per day to random women. I just want to know, where do people find such men? Because man,
By the way, is it
50,000.
50K? Is it 50K a day or 50K per?
He used to spend 50,000 shillings on women
date.
a day.
No, okay,
Or
not
So
a date.
if, so
A date.
if it's 3 women, because from the way he's explaining, it's like they got so many. So that's
50, 50, 50. Wow, my rent has been paid. I have due allowance. Do you mean I'm buying a car after 3 months? I'm just
my dear.
rich.
No, that was for a date. So it's a 50K date.
Honey, I
He's
make
not
sure-
giving you the 50,000 in your bank
Listen,
account.
I make sure that I become the ambare, such that every single week I am meeting you at least 3 or 4 times, making sure that I am trying to be a wife somewhere because
Yeah, until now you're become old. He's tasted your goodies for a good year, and he's decided that I need somebody new and fresh. And that's what the problem is from what you're getting from him. He's like, oh my God, I love my wife. And then he got bored of her. And then he started cheating. And then
a
now
new
once he
wife.
finally started cheating and sampled all the goods, he's like, I like this piece of candy. Let me keep it and make it my own. And then he decides, oh my God, I'm so tired of eating chocolate. Hey, see, that vanilla over there looks good. Let me onja kidogo. And then let me try another one. You know what? I don't even like sweets anymore. I think I need some steak. And that's what's going to happen. So Amber right now shouldn't even be feeling too happy and everything like that.
Too
You know,
special.
too special because you're not special. Once he gets tired of the relationship, once he gets tired of her, he's going to go on to wife number 3 or 4 because allegedly she's not even the second wife. She might be the third wife. So it's just it's a sad
spiral,
cycle.
yeah.
Exactly, of a spiral of like someone who lacks self-control, because that's what I'm seeing right now. The nerve that you can tell the first wife, you should be happy that now I'm no longer cheating. I'm just I found another person. It's like it's the entitlement, it's the disrespect that's like shocking me. And unfortunately, it's like they have a relationship where he can speak to her like that.
And
They
that's
you
another
know,
problem, because like
she just
last
accepts
week,
it.
weren't we talking about the fact that she came out and said something that was along those lines of, okay, what did she say?
Msimu.
Msimu wa maembe.
Maembe.
Pia
Yeah.
maembe ni ya msimu. It
Seasonal.
means that this has been a thing that's been
Yeah.
happening over and over again in her life, so much so that it's become a trend. Now she just knows, huyu atakuja, atakuliwa, atafanyiwa maajabu, ataenda.
And that is why she's not being replaced. I'm not encouraging this, but that is the reason as to why she's not being replaced. You give a man space, you let him do what he wants, he won't replace you. I'm not encouraging.
Yeah.
Get me right, it's just fact.
Lily.
It's just fact.
Lily sometimes.
But
No.
what she's speaking is that's how she sees her life, and that's the truth. Honestly, at the end of the day, she's gonna be there. Whether she's happy or not are two different things.
Yeah.
But she will be there, and he will stay with her, and she will always be number one. As
Yeah.
all the other
But
women
what-
come
what
and
is
go
number
into his
one,
life.
though?
Number one in a ghetto lifestyle.
What is number
and number
one?
one
We
in
need
so
to start
much.
thinking about the
But you
value of
see,
number one.
they are
Like, what did
Muslim.
she get? It doesn't
They
matter.
allow.
No, that's the thing I keep asking you. Kwani he woke up and then he found a wife outside? Is that what happened? No. He clearly has been in many, many multiple relationships.
Yeah, but
And
as a
to the
Muslim,
point where-
to get 4 wives, you obviously have to date them first. Then decide that I'm going to marry this one.
Okay.
So that's what
So
happened.
basically
Yeah.
what we're saying is he's just continuously going to be dating women for the rest of his life until he gets to number
Most
4.
likely, I don't know.
I can't. Oh, 777-672-230. Do you think this is a way to go? And if you are, this one I will actually target it. If you are Muslim, is this exactly what actually happens? I just want to know, please explain to us how you get from number 1 to number 4, what the system is. I need to understand it, because at this point in time,
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
looking at it with a very, very sharp eye of like, what in God's name?
I think we need to have somebody over here to come as a guest and explain for
Yes,
us
a
the
Muslim,
whole
breakdown.
Yeah, exactly. Because maybe us we're looking at it through our Christian eyes, our whatever other religion you may be, and judging. And this is something that is done in their religion and their culture, and it's okay and accepted. And we're
the
just being
pretext is
judging.
that we just want to know the confines of how this happens. Just break it down to us in a way that we understand. Like we're 2 years old. That's how I want someone to explain that
Let
to
me
me.
tell you. But someone else is giving us a lot of love advice over here, because the advice from about love and relationships is flowing and flowing, and that is Miss Annalisa. Now, she went to her social media on her Instagram stories, and she starts to talk about having children with a man. And she said, dear young girls, okay, do not get kids with somebody you are not sure about. You can date, get engaged, etc., but kids, that is a whole sin committed. Rather, your partner leaves you because you are not sure about having kids than it being forced. That's just my opinion. Others have different views. Good night. And Annalisa, I 150,000% agree with you. People don't realize once you have a child with somebody, you are stuck with that person for the rest of your life. Not even actually the rest of that child's life. Basically, yeah, the rest of that child's life, you're stuck with that person. He was a bad boyfriend. He's not gonna be now a better partner towards you. He may be a good father, but he's not gonna be a better person towards you. And sometimes I think we take having children so lightly, and you're stuck with somebody in a toxic relationship with this person, the heartache and everything, trying to get child support, trying to get him to take care of the baby, trying to get him to even claim the child. It's just a lifelong suffering. And then as a woman in the African context already, now you become spoiled goods. Now you're that person who already has a child, and now you're trying to go into another relationship. Then you man has to figure out, do I want to deal with a baby daddy? You know, it's different as a man coming into the situation, but as a woman, once you already have a child, you already have baggage on you, and now you have to go and select men in a different way. It's just a whole nother level of stress. I agree with her 100%. You need to pick the man that you're going to have the children with very, very, very carefully.
And we actually once had someone on the table. I don't think I'm going to mention names because I don't remember whether that was a conversation we had behind the scenes or on the table. Anyway, she said that she's been in a relationship with her ex and they had a kid, right? Mm-hmm. So the problem is he's the one who took custody of the child. She doesn't have custody of the child. But because of the fact that this guy was so toxic and so narcissistic, it gets to a point where she goes months without seeing her child. And even additionally, the child will always come back to her, giving her stories and things which just don't make sense. He's always talking smack about her to the child, and the kid now has such a split image of what the parents actually are. Also, don't forget, the kind of children that you bring up in this society, if at all they are from a broken home. We saw the video of the lady going viral. She's brushing her kid's shoe and talking trash to this man about something that is even a completely irrelevant conversation, a conversation that should not be had in the presence of children. So these kinds of relationships we need to start thinking about. As you are getting latched to someone, great, but don't bring a child into a toxic relationship, into a toxic environment, because they will grow knowing that as normal, and that is not normal.
Yeah, and I agree that people change, people can change, especially when you get children. So a toxic person might change when they get children, because they'll just see this beautiful and this angel in front of them, and they'll be forced to change.
But don't hope on that change,
But people need to have these serious conversations while dating. You need to learn the personality of your partner before you even commit. So don't date and then get engaged without even knowing whether you're going to have kids with this person or not. I feel like while you're dating, you need to make that decision as you're dating. Probably the second month, you just look at this person, the way they're behaving, and you'll be able to judge whether you'll have children with that person or not. Don't wait until it's too late. It's just, I don't know, it's sensitive. And on that note, it's time for Ask the Girls.
Ladies, we're on top. Hey, we're on top. Hey.
Someone says, hello, kindly, nahitaji your advice. I'm living with my mother-in-law in my house. Ni mama hawezi saidia chochote, nangangana alone kumfanyia everything. Tumekuwa pamoja for 1 year. I am bored. Kindly advice. Living with in-laws, we've talked about it before on this show, and it's not as easy as you think. And I feel I need to mention this. Ephesians 5:29 talks about a man leaving the father and the mother and coming together with the wife, and they become one. So I think that you need to share whatever you're feeling with your husband, because you come first. It is you first as the wife, then the mother-in-law comes in second. And also you need to establish or set respectful boundaries with your mother-in-law through the son-in-law. Don't go directly, because it might end bad. You need to also maintain the respect that you already have for you to even be able to resolve anything. And also, I feel you need to reduce the amount of time you spend with your mother-in-law. There is where the conflict is coming in. You go do your business. When you come back in the house, mind your business. Just say, hi, mom, hi, nini. Ataibika kwa hiyo nyumba. And also, This is my advice. Start kissing your husband in front of your mother-in-law. Hug him in front of your mother-in-law. Come with your lingerie to the sitting room in front of your mother-in-law. She will feel so, she'll feel disrespected and uncomfortable. She will leave.
No, she will not leave.
She's
not going to talk trash about you.
She will go.
The WhatsApp group with every single family member. In fact, she's even taking pictures. Yeah, this is what she looks like every day.
She'll be uncomfortable.
Okay, let me ask Ayuma this question because I feel like we have put you in a special caliber of insanity. Ayuma, let me ask you a question. You have your mother-in-law. Actually, I completely understand where she's coming from a point of I am bored. It's not I am bored because of the fact that she's just boring. No. You're bored because you have a house. Obviously, she has a room somewhere in that house, yes? Great. And your assumption when she's moving in is, yeah, she's probably going to spend most of her time in the room. She's probably not going to be around all the time. But the good question that I want to ask you is, do you think she will stay in that room forever? She will be in your kitchen telling you that you're not cooking nicely. She will be in your laundry room telling you that, oh my God, mbona unafua nguo za white na nguo za yellow. She will be in your man's business where every time he comes home late. And in this case, supporting him for coming late, but dare you come home past 8. You will start explaining to both your husband and your man and your mother-in-law where you have been, with who you have been. I need evidence. Call them on the phone. Like she is in your business 24/7, making it worse. Both of you don't have a job. Oh, Lordy, that's the end. That's the end. Me, I get how she can get bored. My advice is, I don't know, girl. How'd you get yourself there? Ulifikaje hapa?
No, me, I think Vumilia too. And honestly, it's not even that big of a deal, by the way, because I would want my mom to come in that house and my husband to sit there and Vumilia too. So in that same way, let me tell you, in that same way, I too will be Vumiliaing too. How bad can she possibly be?
You think your mother is dressed in front of your mother-in-law. You think your mother is dressed
she
in front
knows
of your
how I am right
mother-in-law.
now. That's the problem. This goes back to the thing of not letting people know who you are. Me already, my mother, to my mother-in-law. It's time to go on a break as I remind myself how unmarried I am.
I keep telling you, she keeps doing this.
As I remind myself how unmarried I am, as I remind myself how I am just a girlfriend, as I remind myself if I am ready to have my in-laws sleeping in the same house as me. Let's go on a break and contemplate all that. We'll be right back. Gilad Milo, and let me tell you, I feel as if we know so many of his hits. That's Unajua. He's literally the Israeli diplomat turned African pop star over here, and you've literally come and taken the Kenyan industry by a storm. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thanks for having me.
We've had you already a few times. You're officially a part of the Ebru TV family.
After 3 times, you get free ice cream, Mama.
Yeah, for sure.
You should be definitely getting more than just water. You know, you should be giving you something a little bit extra. That's a little like note to self and everything. But of course, welcome back.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. Glad to see that you're doing well. You know, like right before COVID and everything, I remember that you had your performance at a well-known club over there. I can't say, but it's in Westlands, you know, and it was like really, really good. Like, your music was great. And then boom, COVID hits and the pandemic was there, lockdown, shutdown of everything. And then you got COVID.
I mean, okay, first of all, it's been like, what, more than a year now?
Yeah.
So, I mean, first there was no music.
Yeah.
No performances, so to speak. There was a couple of online, like with another station, we did an online concert. I did my own YouTube show, but live performances. Wow, I did one like 3 or 4 months ago when there was a bit of an opening.
Yeah.
Everybody came up to take pictures. Nobody had a mask on. I was like, I don't know if I'm doing this again. This is not smart.
Yeah.
Like 100 people, and you're like, oh, yeah.
Did you get and then you
I don't
faced
think
the
that's how I got
repercussions
COVID.
of
I didn't get COVID from that, but I didn't continue doing shows because it felt really weird. COVID was a month and a half ago, 12th of March.
Okay.
12th of March, I tested positive, and I got sick.
And you were not asymptomatic.
I was symptomatic.
Yeah.
Sana. I was very symptomatic. As in, I didn't get the part with the breathing, so I didn't have, thank God, didn't have to go to hospital or anything like that. But I had fevers, I had muscle pains and aches, I had, we had nightmares, sweating, you name it. Like, it was bad. And it was all of us. Like, my daughter got sick, my wife got sick, I got sick. So it was like, it was really rough. Like, okay, my daughter was asymptomatic, only she lost her smell and taste. But my wife had it rougher even than I did. Yeah, it was. It's no joke. And it wipes you out. I mean, you still kind of, even though completely tested positive, all is good now, but it wipes you out, like it drains you. So even now that it's been weeks and we're okay, it's still,
you still get the side effects.
You're not back to yourself. I don't feel back to myself in terms of like energy and strength. Yeah, I get tired quicker. But while I was sick, it was like, get up, walk to the other side of the room, and I'm like, I feel like I just walked 10 kilometers.
You've done the exercise for the day.
You're exhausted.
But we're glad that you're okay.
Thank you. Yeah, thank God. I mean, really.
Yeah. We've been having a conversation about the views of different artists in regards to the lockdown and curfew. So what do you have to say about it? Do you support it? Do you think it's the right thing, or what are your views?
It's really hard. Like, okay, I could come out and say straight out, open the economy, I'm there, let's just do it. But I've been sick and I've had this thing, so I'm like, I don't wish it on anybody, and people are dying, that's a fact. Numbers are going up, that's a fact. But I mean, it's like everything we've done so far, we've done kind of wrong, right?
True.
So, I mean, this is just another one of those things. Suddenly, this barricade on Thika Road, guys on. I mean, we do it our way, yeah. So I mean, it's been like that pretty much throughout. So nothing is kind of organized, and everybody's suffering from that. And it's been a really long year. It's not just. I mean, when you say artist, okay, if you take me not having a show, so I perform with Superband. Superband is 7 people in a band, okay? Then we have the sound guys, right? Then we have the people we're getting the backline from or whoever, and the place we're performing. So I mean, a show of mine, there's at least 30, 40 people, no, I'm exaggerating, 20, 30 people who are walking home with money in their pocket at the end of a show that hasn't, that's happened. Not to mention the big festivals and all that, but it's tough. It's a tough call. In Israel's number 1 in the world today, beating COVID.
That is
so I mean, in Israel, literally from Sunday, there's no more need to wear masks in the open. That's like as front a country as there is in the world right now. All the COVID, what do you call it, in the hospitals, the special hospital, COVID areas in the hospital, most of them are shut down.
Wow.
They don't need them anymore.
And that's because they did a proper lockdown when it first happened,
No,
right?
actually, Israel had 3 lockdowns. In the second one, nobody respected anything. Guys were going out. Police weren't stopping people. So the second lockdown didn't work. Third one was better. People got fed up. People, when you were saying earlier, Kadome, you were talking about how governments are paying for people who were out of work. In Israel, they did, but it's such a small amount of money. The guys were still out there demonstrating. There was a lot of demonstrations. And the reason, I mean, where Israel is successful, one, it's a small country. Okay, there's 9 million population. It's a lot easier than, it's much smaller than Kenya. 2, the government stepped up right from step 1, signed a deal with Pfizer and millions of dollars and bought vaccinations for everybody. Right now, out of 9 million population, 6 million have been second time vaccinated.
Wow.
That's why they're opening up, because most of the country has been vaccinated.
Yeah.
Here, I mean, to be honest, I'm not even sure
where you can get a vaccine.
No, but beyond that, where do they get the statistics, okay?
Yeah.
When they tell you this many people are sick, but tests are not free. Tests cost 10K.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay?
Which is a lot.
So who's getting tested now? I mean, when we got tested, when we got sick, we tested me, my wife, my daughter, our driver.
That is
okay? That was 40K right there. Now there was another test. Then we started medicine, blah, blah, blah. And the first thing I said to I said to my wife, how are people in this country? I mean, how are people? I remember when Vienne was sick, he tweeted about the same thing, how he reached 60K by like 4th day.
Jeez.
And how are people able? So, I mean, guys are getting sick, everywhere.
And just not saying.
Who's going to go get tested? When I posted that I was sick on my Facebook page, I really have conversations with the guys. I take the page really seriously. Guys are there. People were posting for real. I'm sick, I can't get tested, I can't get medicine, it was very real, yeah.
It's very scary to think about.
Yeah.
But then there is something that is amusing about the fact that we have been in COVID, but you're still releasing such amazing songs. We have songs from Swahili Girl,
Yeah.
Maisha Marefu, Kindege,
Yeah.
and now the most recent one is Butterflies.
Butterflies.
So we still have something amazing to look up to. And now the question is, how are you still getting inspiration to make such beautiful sounds? And also, the videos.
We tried. Okay, so I mean, first of all, for Swahili Girl, which I mean, Swahili Girl was a partnership with Kilifi, with Kilifi County. There's an organization that does PR for Kilifi County. It's called This Is Kilifi, and the song was already out on audio. And Eliad, who is my partner, who's a massive Israeli singer, couldn't come here because of COVID to make the video. So we came up with this idea of, you know, the story of the Swahili girl, and we went down and filmed it in partnership with Kilifi County. So everything in the video is Kilifi County. I mean,
They should have talked to you before getting Naomi Campbell.
Naomi,
Hi.
yeah.
I saw that and I was thinking, really? You know, I mean,
We did a full-on song about this.
but I think it's been said. I mean, before I complained, Lupita complained, Eric
Yeah.
Omondi complained. Who are we? You know.
Yeah.
But I confess I am a huge ambassador for Kenya. Everywhere I go, I mean, you know, everybody who knows me connects me with Kenya. So it's like, and in Israel, everybody knows about the ex-diplomat who became a musician and, you know, all that. When we won Afrima, we did a live interview to the Israeli breakfast show
Wow.
from Nigeria.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's like people, they don't know the music, but they know there's this guy.
Diplomat
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, there's a guy.
And in addition to that question, with Swahili Girl specifically, there was a whole TikTok trend
Yeah.
that happened. Guys were singing to Swahili Girl,
Yeah.
doing the Swahili
Aziad
thing.
was first.
Aziad
Aziad was
the
first.
first person, yes. How does that feel to know that your music is still getting such recognition?
I mean, that
even
was on
such platforms?
that was just on the end of like I mean, I connected to TikTok because there was it was started without me. I just jumped on and did my own thing, but it was started without me. Unaendelea aje challenge, Unajua challenge. There were few names, but it reached like 7 million views.
Nice.
And I'm like, okay, this song is older than TikTok.
Yeah.
You know, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And then when Swahili Girl came out as part of the release strategy, yeah, I connected with Aziad and we came up with this idea. And then, but I didn't expect it to be copied the way it was. So I mean, Kenyan women put their best foot forward. There were some guys there too, dressed like Kenyan women. But I mean, that was way cool. And then we did the cover songs challenge,
Yeah.
which, I mean, the level of talent in this country always blows my mind. But when you see it done with your own song, that's like another level. Like people, I've sung Swahili Girl after that cover song contest, like adopting stuff from people who did certain things with a song. Yeah, there's some amazing talent.
Don't you
here.
think that's a good strategy now, especially for a lot of the artists who are not able to perform and they feel as if that's the only way to get their music out there? You said you actually went ahead and contacted Aziad and like, maybe we need to find a different way of marketing our music so that now it can get the same exposure that it wouldn't get through performance.
But I mean, a lot of people who are releasing music are going through TikTok and contacting, you know, the different
Content
people.
creators.
Aziad and I, you know, I mean, when music shut down, I recognized that music was going to shut down relatively early. And so, I mean, I have a full-time job, then there's music, then there's a side hustle. Okay, so like full-time job is I have a PR agency. It's been going for years now, since 2015, 16. It's called Harmony, just changed the name to Milo Communications. You saw recently Wahoo, Kamene, Aziad, and Avril come together for Big.
Yeah.
So that's me. I literally came up with the concept of the ad, wrote the text together with my wife, you know, we worked together. And so we wrote out what Kamene would say, Wahoo would say, Avril, you know, and Aziad. We came up with the concept for the ad, pitched it to Big, who's our client. So that's like our full-time job, you know, that pays the rent. Then there's music, which for a year has been shut down. I've released songs for me, mostly for me. Like, here's songs I've written, here's, you know, enjoy. And then there's, you know, there's agriculture, which I do farming. I don't keep it a secret. I'm very passionate about it. I have been for years. I believe it's the solution to Kenya, Africa, you name it. It's the solution to everything. I love engaging with youth, with women, with groups, on agriculture. I do it regularly. So that's like, there's money coming in from here, there's money coming in from here. And when music shut down,
You have to focus. You have to have your other sources.
yeah, but I'm
of
like a
income.
Kenyan, I hustle, know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you shut down one of my hustles, I push, Yeah.
And you won an Afirima Award.
I won 2 African
Two.
awards.
Please
even.
tell
Yeah,
us
yeah.
about it. And before you do, Paul here says, anaimba na Kiswahili. Anaweza ongea na Kiswahili kidogo. Can you answer
Kidogo
that in Swahili?
I won Afrima for a song. My best friend lost his son. At 8 years old, he lives in Mexico, and his son, Uriel, fell and collapsed, and his heart stopped beating, and he died. Yeah, like 3 days later. And the family donated, him and his wife, they donated the organs to save his life. And he's like my best friend from when we were kids. And he called me and he said, come, I need you. So I got on a plane, this is 2016. Got on a plane, flew to Mexico, never been there. Went to he has a guest house there. And while I was there, the whole time I was there, I wrote this song, Angel Uriel, about his son and all that. And when I came back to Kenya, we recorded the song with Sedo, we had the video recorded, and Noreen, who was working with me, got this email from Afrima, and so she said, this is our current song, and she applied. We got 2 nominations. Now, even though I'm not Kenyan officially, I represented Kenya.
Yeah.
So they announced Gilad from Kenya. Yeah?
Wow.
And I was actually the first Kenyan artist to win 2 Afrimas.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that because you're a good representation of Kenya. Some people, you're not sure, they're Kenyan and you don't want them to necessarily represent us. But you're representing us in
Yeah, I
such an
gave a
amazing
speech,
way.
I represented,
Yeah.
I'm happy.
I want to talk about your song Butterfly, yeah? And it's a
Butterflies.
specific line where you said, I've always been a stranger living in a foreign land. What inspired that line, and do you feel as if that's like basically your
Reality.
life? Yeah,
You
your
know,
reality.
I drove here in traffic like all of us, okay, to come here now. The traffic we're living in Nairobi these days. And I drove on Peponi and then to James Gishuru. That way I've been driving for 18 years.
Wow.
Okay? 18 years when I first came here to the embassy. I left for a while to LA, but then I came back, and I've been here consecutively since 2008. That's 13 years, okay? I applied for citizenship now 5 years ago, and I still don't have it. So that line is kind of like my complaint, very diplomatically and politely,
Yeah.
but it's like a way of saying, I mean, and it's more than that. It's also like, I thought that if I learned the language, people would understand.
Yeah.
So it's not completely like that. Language isn't enough to bring down a barrier. There's also a mentality and a culture. Me, I sat here before while you guys were talking for the first parts of the show, and I connected to everything you said. I know everything you said. I follow and kind of am in tune with most of the people you mentioned. So like I'm here, I live here. I don't watch news from Israel so much. My son is there, serving in the army. My daughter is going to the army there soon. That's their choice. But I live here, and yet, you Kenyans, okay? Let's be honest, okay? To let someone really, really, really in, I consider myself very advanced class.
Yes.
And yet, kabisa. There's still this, I'll get these handshakes and I'll get this. Yeah, so I mean, and I've been here for the better part of my adult life. I'm about to hit 50 in a few months. So I mean, I've been here, really raised my kids here. I love this country. I'm connected here. I contribute here. Yeah, I mean, and without going through the resume, I've really done things here, outside of music, even in agriculture. In the days of Amiran, you guys remember when Giuliani was doing Farming is Cool, the greenhouse farming? You would have been young. It was around 2010, 11, 12.
I remember.
But we brought greenhouses, drip irrigation to 1,000 schools together with the Kenya Red Cross and Abbas Gilad to 1,000 schools in Kenya, and like changed the way kids saw drip irrigation, greenhouse farming, stuff like that. Yeah, I still believe that. I'm still passionate, and like, yeah, it's things I want to do here in the long run. But to be here for the long run, you want the stamp.
It's true.
Yeah.
So
It
I mean,
does.
if you know Fred Matiangi, if you have any connections, he's the man who signs the citizenship. Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to think about some things and how different it is generally. Because even in summary, even when I saw your first song, I was just like, "Hey, umzungu anajua Kiswahili." Hey, bwana. It was pretty cool to see that. And also things like the fact that children have to go into the army. In some countries, I think even Israel is one of those places where you have to actually enroll in the
It's
army.
mandatory. It's a draft.
Everyone has to
At
become.
18 years old, you have
and
to
you
go.
see how different that is. We are such different people, but yet the same.
So funnily enough, my kids did not have to go mandatory because they grew up here.
Yeah.
But they chose to because they said, you know, they're not ready to separate from Israel. That was my choice.
Yeah.
So they want to go and see, you know, where they're from, etc. We may live here.
I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy, absolutely crazy. And it feels so bad. We don't have time for a game.
We don't have time for a game, but we're going to have time to go ahead and listen to his song. We already have Maisha Marefu and Kadege. Before we get to go ahead and listen to it, maybe you can give us a little snippet. What do you want the viewers to take away from that?
You know, I mean, this music is like, as opposed to music made trying to impress a certain audience or writing in Kiswahili, because like Butterflies, there's no Swahili. Yeah, I don't know if you even noticed. Yeah, there's no Kiswahili words. Yeah. It's completely English. And that was me going, okay, I don't know, people expect something from you. And then you start thinking like you have to give it to them. Yeah? And then you're like, no, but I want to do this.
Right.
So I'm going to do me, okay? And that's Butterflies. Butterflies is me just doing me. Kidege and Maisha Marefu are just love songs. I released them both together on Valentine's Day. Yeah, you know, I mean, you know how it is. You sit on songs and you collect.
Yeah.
You're a collector, and okay, when do I start? When do I start dishing them out? And you see, and for me, sometimes it'll be like, there was really bad news or something today, and guys are down.
To just
like,
basically bring up people's
I'm
day.
gonna cheer people up, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like Swahili Girl is much more structured campaign. It's a collab, even all like.
I like that. It's like a thought process behind all of it. Unfortunately, I want to hear your story.
Okay, Sawa.
But we have no time, and I'm so upset because time has gone by so quickly.
Yeah.
But we hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did. I've seen all the messages. Actually, I'm sorry we haven't been able to go through them, but we're going to go ahead and look at them
Watu
and
wa Kenya
respond.
tunawapenda sana.
Tunawapenda sana. We're going to have to go ahead and say goodbye. It's your girl, Ayuma Kaguli, Lily Asigo, Katomi. And where can they find you on social media?
I'm Gilad, Balozi wa Mapenzi. You can find me, Gilad, G-I-L-A-D. If you Google, I'm the most famous Gilad in Kenya. So, at least in Kenya. So, Instagram, Gilad Milo. Facebook, Gilad Life, Kama Maisha. YouTube, Gilad. What else? TikTok, Gilad Kenya.
Definitely. All of that. Make sure you go ahead and check them out on social media. But we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.